Hey there, it's me, Teddy, your friendly neighborhood gaming bear. In between the process of figuring out how to edit and dealing with my personal issues that affect my mental and physical capacity, and hell, just simply maneuvering through the day to day when it seems like life's been getting harder and harder, I've found myself in need of some tism fueled nerd rants. Lots of gaming news and nerd topics tend to flood my mind, and I feel like I'm just kind of stewing on them all with no real resolution to my thoughts, or at worst, I'm yapping to myself or my poor loving roommates who don't have the heart to tell me I'm a gaming spaz. So I'm making a new video series here on the channel. These videos mostly won't have proper scripts, and they won't undergo the same kind of scrutiny I put the other videos under, and they're gonna consist of whatever topics or commentary I feel like covering. And I'll be using a lot of extra gameplay that I've recorded, so that way it doesn't go to waste and you guys have something to look at. Regardless, I hope that these videos will be fun to watch and listen to and enjoy, and yeah. And who knows, maybe you and I share similar views or opinions on things. Maybe you and I are completely opposing on things. And I always say, it starts a conversation. So, if you like the videos, if you want to see more, if you have any ideas of what you'd like to hear me cover or talk about, or if you just got something you want to share, leave a comment, like and subscribe so that way you know when my next video drops. But enough of the preamble. This is episode 1 of Yap Bear. This is it. Welcome to Yap Bear. This is my first episode. Like I said, I'm not really scripted on this. I'm kind of running through it and just seeing where it goes. I don't have a script. I've just mainly got notes here, so I guess we're just gonna get right into it. Welcome to the show. If you've heard the preamble, you'll know that this is going to be a show where I am talking about whatever gaming or nerdy news or topics I feel like covering at the time. It might just be updates on video games, updates on the gaming landscape, what people are up to, if there are new games on the horizon that look really interesting, if there are any huge blunders or huge upsets or whatever might happen. I want to talk about it here. And I guess this is really kind of one of my earlier videos, and my channel really hasn't gone anywhere, and a lot of people don't really know who I am. You guys have no idea who I am. As far as you guys know, I'm just a cute little bear face on a screen who plays video games. I guess I'll just kind of get into it by telling you guys some of my favorite games. Games like Banjo-Kazooie, Star Fox, Halo Reach, Left 4 Dead 2, Super Castlevania 4, the Resident Evil franchise, Legend of Zelda, Midnight Club, Mario Kart, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and hell, there's too many games that I love, and I really don't have a solid list of favorites. It's more just like I constantly have games that are cycling through my head that at one point or another will be more prevalent. I'm currently playing games like Dark Tide, No Man's Sky, Helldivers 2, Sea of Thieves, Jedi Fallen Order. I found this game on Steam called Whole that I really like. And my gaming taste tends to change. Stuff comes and goes. It's one of those things where it's not that I get tired of playing the same thing over and over again, because I can always go back and replay games and enjoy myself. It's more just I get in different swings, and sometimes I want to play shooters, sometimes I want to play more adventure games, sometimes I want to just chill and vibe, sometimes I want to build, sometimes I want to just go out and do. So all these things kind of gradually come and go, they change. But just to really get into me, I guess, I've been gaming since I was about 3 years old. Some of my earliest memories that I made with video games were with things like Castlevania on the Nintendo, Castlevania 4, Super Metroid, Star Fox, Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Super Monkey Ball. All of those games, I think I can quite vividly remember just being prevalent in my childhood and being some of my go-to games that I more than likely could pick up and play. And if I don't beat them super fast, I'm just going to sit there and enjoy the ride the entire way through. I've always loved video games too. They're a comfort, and they've been an escape from me for about as long as I can remember. To me, they're interactive art. They tell stories, they have passion and dedication put behind them. Sometimes those hours of work and dedication can create some of the most worthwhile memories of you and your loved ones. They're special, you know? And so many people and have blah, 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 blah. I'm just rambling. Blah, 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 blah. To me, video games are interactive art. They tell stories, they have passion and dedication put behind them, and sometimes those hours of work and dedication can create some of the most worthwhile memories for you and your loved ones. They're special, you know? So many ways to speak to people and connect. Even with something as simple as a fresh start on vanilla Minecraft can bear some of the fondest memories of people. Hell, I remember my friends and I having a mourning period when our world file got corrupted and we couldn't recover it. Not because it was our saved game, but because we had connected through that little blocky world. One of us was building secret passageways and tunnels throughout our housing complex to keep us all connected and safe in case we were raided. One of us was building a watchtower and a beacon that you could see from super far off. I'd been creating this massive farm for everybody, and it was this forged community and something so simple and relaxing. And that's the beauty of video games, isn't it? When they hit you in the feels and you truly connect with them, it's like nothing else. And I guess that brings me to one of my first topics. Live service games. Love them or hate them, they are here to stay. But let's talk about one of the biggest problems live service games present, and they've been presenting since the beginning. Longevity. Theoretically, a live service game is really a no-brainer. Take a game, make it replayable, give it a really good gameplay cycle, and put it out, and then just consistently update it with content and patches to keep it going for years. And, you know, maybe even collab with some famous brands, IPs, different people. It's cool, right? Like, it's solid, it sounds good. Well, and I can't be the only one saying this. It's only cool when the dev team actually gets to work on the game, and when the game actually has substance over padding. These live service titles are dying by the week at this point, with either full-on shutdowns, final content updates that are either literally final or ambiguous, leaving all these players lost and waiting for something that may never come, which will inevitably lead to just an empty game that they'll have to shut down. Hell, just in the past 6 years alone, we've had Concord, Lawbreakers, Anthem, Knockout City, the Evil Dead game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and even Red Dead Online all fall to the ironic finality of live service games at present. And I know there's probably even more that I could name, and by the time I upload this, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear about another game being shut down or sunsetted. But why even bother with this model if it's volatile and time consuming, and it's often kind of a crapshoot whether it works or not? Well, because money, of course. Live service games have proven to be insanely lucrative. Games like Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, the modern Call of Duty, League of Legends, and despite its current situation, Overwatch. All these games lasted far longer than I think anyone expected them to. Except maybe League. MOBAs are just built like that. And they all lasted because the teams behind these games got to keep on working on them. They got to fail and try again and again until they figured something out that ultimately put their game on the map as the game to play for the time. Fortnite seems to have perfected the live service battle royale game type, and it's still adding new things to the game. New seasonal updates, new weapons, new cosmetics, new game modes. They put an Unreal Engine creation tool in the game for people to create their own experiences and game types. Hell, just recently they added like a bunch of Star Wars items into the Unreal creator, so I already saw a bunch of people talking about how they're making new Star Wars modes or potentially little like in-game fun like experiences in Fortnite simply because they want to. Overwatch for a very long time held the title of being this big, massive hero shooter that everybody had to play. It was doing it better than everybody else was. and it was constantly drawing comparisons whenever anybody attempted to jump on the hero shooter train. It led to this constant battle of like, yeah, it's good, but is it better than Overwatch? Even though I don't say this as a fact, it seems as though recently there's been a tendency to draw from Overwatch and all of these newer hero shooters anyway. It's almost like it's become a blueprint because it was that good. Siege forced itself into its position with the unique aspect of tactical shooter gameplay while utilizing this hero shooter structure. And Siege struggled initially because, some gamers saw it as a trend-chasing title, with the focus of Rainbow Six shifting from this intense PvE terrorist hunt kind of gameplay into a more intense tactical search and destroy game mode, kind of veering away from where the prior entries went. And now it's only standing tall due to the consistent updates and the community drive to keep that game going. It's pretty cool to see how far it's come, even if I am one of those gamers that misses the older style of Rainbow Six and was honestly expecting Rainbow Six meets SWAT 4 when Siege got announced back then. And now, the only reason, at least in my observations and limited research, that a lot of these games even stand where they are or were is because of how long the development teams actually got to work on these games. A lot of these sudden failures tend to come from a lack of faith in the team behind the video game, a lack of direction or faith in the ideas being presented, which, would lead to foobar development cycles, constant delays, early closures and sunsets, and it's sad. It's becoming this massive pattern. Though some may deny it, back when Fortnite came out, it was viciously hated for quite a few years because it had introduced the Battle Pass system to gaming at large. It was seen as this game meant for hyperactive kids and streamers, and some had said that it had abandoned its initial core PvE mode to cater to the growing PvP Battle Royale audience that was suffering from PUBG fatigue. Yeah, I remember PUBG. I was terrible at it. So I was playing mobile with my buddies while waiting for our film projects to render. And even then, only mode that we liked was that one mode with like the zombies, where like the zombies would run around and you'd have to deal with zombies and players. It was great. Anyway, I digress. Overwatch at one point was seen as this den of toxicity that was heavily catering to this esports scene, alienating casual single player and PvE gamers from what most people saw as a very interesting and fun world, as well as creating a space where a lack of knowledge or skill made the casual player hated and the experienced player loathed. It was just this breeding ground for competitive anger. And then these games found their niche. They shoved themselves inside and they got cozy. Overwatch was one of the biggest games in esports, competing with games like League of Legends in terms of popularity and screen time. And the characters were all charismatic. They set themselves in nerd culture, spanning merch, cosplays, and hell, I think there's music at this point, just like in League. And Fortnite has exploded. It's become this game filled to the brim with content, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. And my brother, who is this huge Siege player, told me that Siege recently got this massive update. And it's got a new game mode, UI overhauls, visual adjustments, and it's got limited free-to-play access now, and that's kind of sick. Not that my brother is this expert on Siege, but, I'm out of the loop, but even I hear, good stuff happening with this game simply because they keep getting the devs to work on them. They're staying relevant because these devs keep working hard, and they keep putting their blood, sweat, and tears into creating these games. And they actually fuel these communities, and the communities are still around and supporting the games and their potential. They weren't chopped aside and thrown away the moment the money wasn't rolling in, which seems to be the new pattern with shareholders, CEOs, and all the new corporations and video game projects that seem to be popping up now. These motherfuckers seem to grab straws, right? They just gather all these straws up and they're like, all right, let's draw them. And then as soon as all the straws are drawn, and then they go, all right, you're the one that got picked. Get that studio to do a live service game. And when it fails, because we force them to make profit-chasing decisions and we undermine their choices, we're going to cut the funds and close the studio entirely. It's like they're wasting money. And then they're punishing others for their choice in wasting said money. How many studios are going to close? How many more games and IPs are going to fall to the wayside and end up in gaming limbo until these dumbasses read the fucking room they're in? They're contributing to the death of gaming. It's gone so far as to transcend into TV shows and memes at this point. Nowadays, you hear live service and you're padlocking your wallet because all these games tend to be a gamble now. Are you rolling the dice on an $80 game and hoping that it was enough content to warrant what you paid for? Or are you going to try to jump into a lower price new live service game and pray that the development cycles last longer than a year in order for the game to be worth the time that you'll inevitably have to invest to either get good or have any sort of enjoyment? It's like they took the process of buying a video game and have turned it into a modern day loot box, where you buy them over and over and over again and you just keep getting a bunch of shit until you eventually get that one thing that you're just like, finally, this is what I wanted. You get that one decent thing. You know, as gamers, we're here having to deal with the utter greed in this market. But let's be real, games jumping up about $20 is the least of our fucking worries. When we got CEOs like Randy Pitchford telling all of his customers, if you're a real OG fan, you'll find a way to buy this game even if it is $80. In this day and age, in the Dark Lord of Cthulhu in the year 2025, where our daily expenses seem to be expanding like the Willy Wonka chewing gum effect every few months. I know I'm a little late to this story and I apologize. It seems like I'm beating a dead horse. I know he's kind of come back off of this, but the statement and the mindset is what matters here, you know? And people, all these people, all they will say to defend themselves and their mindsets like, well, back in my day I figured it out. And you know what, it's gonna get a little crazy, I apologize, but I'm getting into it. Back in your day, my guy, you could afford shit and have your luxuries. People could work in a gas station and afford to buy a new car. People in their mid to late 20s were buying houses, not renting, buying houses. In these days, most people are lucky to find places to stay that aren't leaving us with pennies on the day to pay for everything else in our lives. Now you gotta choose. And it's getting harder and harder to excuse simply buying luxuries when the necessities are starting to get pricey. Disposable income isn't when it becomes a part of your essential income. And it doesn't stop there. How many games have you all played in recent memory that are filled to the brim with microtransactions and DLC packs? I know I mentioned Fortnite, but this isn't an exception. I'm looping Fortnite into this too. Like, all of these great games, all of these mid-tier games, and all of these crappy-ass games, all of them, every single one of these games these days seems to have some sort of working in-game shop day one. Sometimes there's a shop during the beta. You know, I watched Halo as a franchise go from play this game for as long as you want, you'll earn a bunch of cool shit along the way. If you do cool shit, you'll earn more cool shit that people won't get unless they were doing said cool shit. It took that and just turned it into a bunch of battle passes, a bloated list of purchasable cosmetics, including all those fucking stupid pointless ones, and it's just not what it used to be. Call of Duty used to do map packs, which was really stupid, but at least they offered something. Right? Now, I'm seeing videos covering collaboration operators and battle passes with bonus COD points all the goddamn time now. I think this newest Call of Duty's had more movies show up in it than like any game ever. Like, the collabs are ridiculous sometimes with some of these games, with just how often they're just shoving them in there, whether it matters or not. With a game like Fortnite, I guess it makes sense, you know? It's like this weird multiverse, sort of like all this stuff's converging, and it's just a stupid Battle Royale game, so it doesn't really matter. And then you get games like Call of Duty and Dead by Daylight, and it's just like, y'all are collabing with what now? Y'all are doing who? And like, it's cool, but at the same time, it's just like, how much more are we gonna keep doing this? You know? Hell, Chivalry 2 had a huge issue with how often they kept collabing with people. In you know, speaking of trying to make a bunch of money by, you know, pumping out microtransactions and things for players to buy, do you guys remember back when Battlefront 2 almost died? straight up just because somebody went, you know what, let's put in loot boxes, let's put in a card system, and let's encourage pay to win in a Star Wars Battlefront game. Yeah, you hear how quiet it got? Because nobody wanted that. And yet, they did it anyway. And that game struggled for so long until they finally got rid of it. And even then, that game never fully recovered. You know, don't let people fool you with the, oh, you know, this community is super strong, or oh, look at it. Look at where you're at now. It's hard to find games. There's fucking cheaters in all these lobbies. And a lot of the content coming out for that game now are people playing with their friends or people waiting for that Kyber mod to come out. Hell, even I'm waiting for the Kyber mod to come out because it looks cool as hell. They're practically making a whole new game just by modding an old one. And it's wild. And it's sickening to see how many companies, how many big companies, how many of these great video games have just fallen due to all these problems. I understand DLC. I even understand, season passes up to a point. You can have these things without exploiting your gamers. But all these egotistical jackals in charge making all these decisions are just sitting in this echo chamber of dumping money, making shit choices, deciding it wasn't worth it, selling and closing off shit, and then repeating it over and over and fucking over ad nauseum. It's frustrating. As somebody who wants to support video games, I want to see dev teams get recognized for their hard work and artistry. I want more experiences to appreciate for years to come. I want to be able to sit there and just be like, you know what, I want to go buy a random game and I'm probably going to be content with it. I miss when that was a thing. Even if you had kind of a stinker, you still found shit to like. You found those niche little things that you were like, yeah, it's not great, but like, this is really nice and I like this about it. Can't even do that anymore because at this point the only nice thing you're finding is the cosmetics you're buying. You're just investing further into a game that you're hoping gets better. I want all of these things to get better. I want to appreciate all these video games. And it's like I said, video games create memories. Experiences create memories. And one of the most common experiences you tend to see online is people having fun and engaging through games together. Gaming prank videos, Gmod death runs, walkthroughs, let's plays, PvP, co-op, solo playthroughs, role-playing playthroughs, story-driven stuff, collaboration projects. All of these things have spanned thousands of videos, accounting for hours upon hours of people just interacting together. Look up your favorite game on YouTube right now, and I guarantee you're bound to find examples aplenty. It's a beautiful level of connectivity that I firmly believe more people should experience. And that reminds me, speaking of all this fatigue and greed and nonsense, it makes me want to transition to something that makes me hopeful and will bring you all some joy if you see the value in it that I do. I've noticed a trend in recent months with gamers and upcoming releases and stuff that's getting teased, right? And let's, coming at it from my perspective, PvP games are starting to get a little excessive, stale, and the typical route for these PvP games, is starting to grow stale with everybody. And if it isn't for you, it is for me. So many PvP games are all starting to feel the exact same. Level up, gear up, shoot enemy, get salty, buy bullshit, repeat. Oh, and maybe I should also throw in look up a video on YouTube to figure out how to play as good as possible or find the meta so that I have the exact same level of edge as the other people I'm playing with, because I don't want to find a way to play the game my way. I don't want to experience and get better on my own. I just want to use the best stuff so that nobody has an edge over me. That's it. The only thing setting most of these games apart is art direction and in-game mechanics. And a lot of the games these days are only maintaining dedicated fans. Casual gamers are leaving games faster than normal with all these skill gaps, slow content releases, and just drip feeding stuff and weird updates and balance changes. All this stuff's only pushing them away. Optimization, meta chasing, skill gaps, ranked play, skill-based matchmaking, exploits, all of these topics all of these things are just what defines the PvP content scene at present. You know, all of these things don't spell out longevity. They don't even give you guys as gamers, they don't give us anything to hold on to. You know, I hate to say it, but in my personal opinion, PvP feels like homework now. It's like this chore you have to do when you get into a game. Especially if you want to play a game for, you know, longer than you would expect a campaign to run. It's not fun anymore. You know, so much so that I'm seeing more and more gamers going back to older games just to get back online and immediately say, hey, go back to games like this. It was so fun. Just come back to this. Do this again. Make this better. Update this again. Give these older games crossplay and just let them live. And, you know, to quote one of the big men himself, a game is fun. If it isn't, why bother? PvP's starting to eat itself alive with how similar and routine it's all become. And it's in my absolute, utterly professional and super duper accurate opinion that the return of Co-Op PvE is essential to bringing the life back into gaming. That and crossplay. Just in the past few months, I've returned to a few different games that have been doing wonders for my enjoyment and good vibes. Games like No Man's Sky, Dark Tide, Minecraft, Sea of Thieves. I've even gone back to The Division 2. I've also been playing Helldivers 2 since its release, and I haven't uninstalled it since. And just recently, I've been seeing new releases that have my attention that are going to have me playing those games for sure. Stuff like FBC Firebreak and Rooftops and Alleys. And I know that Tony Hawk 3+4 just released recently, and I gotta get my hands on that. You know, I find so much enjoyment and appreciation for all these games. And, you know, I know what you're thinking right now. Teddy, how is it any indicator of PvE being essential to bringing gaming back to a better place? Well, allow me to educate you, young ones. Listen in and let the gaming bear explain this nonsense real quick. Well, you know, because I've managed to get my friends hooked on these games. Games that they honestly wouldn't have bothered with had I asked them a couple years ago. And it's not because these games are simply better or timeless or they're doing it just because they're my friend. If they didn't want to play these games, they wouldn't. All of these games are primarily PvE. There's no real need to get good or optimize or chase after this specific gameplay style, because if we don't, we're not going to enjoy the game. You know, we're not sitting there looking over our shoulders every second just because we're expecting somebody to come out of a corner, completely kill us, take all of our stuff, and ruin hours and hours of play just because they don't want to have to do the work because they've been dealing with the same crap that we've probably been dealing with. You know, all of these games really encourage our teamwork, cooperation, friendliness amongst you and your peers. You know, working together to get to a common goal. You jump into a game like Sea of Thieves or No Man's Sky for something, you know, explorative, slower pace, atmospheric in nature. You know, letting you and your friends go on a journey that brings you together through whatever you discover and the stuff that you find yourself in, the situations you come across. You know what I mean? Playing Minecraft, same deal. Just keep that PvP off. Turn off that friendly fire. Just play privately. Play with your homies. You know, play solo. Or you jump into something like Dark Tide, Space Marine 2, or you even go back to Left 4 Dead 2 for like a faster, intense experience that's got you and your friends fighting back to back against a common foe. You know, hordes of enemies, relentless in their endeavors to take you all down one by one, putting an emphasis on all of your teamwork, encouraging you to keep you and your comrades all safe, watching each other's back, making sure that you all beat the odds and take down the big bad, one explosive step at a time, all together. The camaraderie, the fun times you have, the intense moments that have you rushing to pull your friends out of the fire so you guys make it to the next encounter, working together like the fellowship down in the mines of Moria, adhering to each other's strengths, bolstering each other's weaknesses. I mean, why do you think so many people like watching tabletop role-playing games like the Roll20 guys or anyone that plays like D&D on the streams? You know, why do people like watching streams of people playing games together? It's an inherent feeling in all of us to seek companionship, family, fellowship. We're social creatures. You know, if you don't believe me, why do you think there are so many games, You know, so many PvP games where there are these roleplay servers, fight clubs, the friendlies who are just going around goofing off and making the experience more fun for everybody else. Why are there these inherent social circles always forming in games of competition and PvP? Gamers thirst for cooperation, they thirst for camaraderie, they thirst for fun. You know, I'm already wishlisting upcoming PvE games, signing up for tests just to make sure I get more chances to hang out with my friends and hell, maybe even make some new ones. You know, I tried out FBC Firebreak recently with the betas, and yeah, it feels awesome. It looks awesome. It's a little jank and the servers needed work, but the game just dropped. It's on PS Plus Extra, so you're probably gonna hear more from me about it because I know my buddy's gonna get it on Game Pass. You know, and it's not just because of that, it's also because it's Remedy. I love that studio's projects, and your boy's still praying for a Max Payne remake. You know, rest in peace to the GOAT. You know, I'm keeping my eyes on games like King of Meat, the future Gears of War games that are coming out, Alien Hominid Invasion, Rooftops and Alleys, Escape from Duckov, and honestly, one of my favorite demos that I have tried this year, Dead as Disco. We are in. This is Dead as Disco. I figure I just hop in real quick and show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't want to take up too much time here, so stage select. Infinite Disco. Alright, so it's got a song list and there's some pretty cool tracks on here, but you can also import music, which I have also done, and I've set up the BPM and stuff, so hopefully it works out. So let's just go ahead and get started. Let's see what we got here. And if you guys like, I will go and make a video specifically on Dead as Disco if you guys would so please. I might do it just because too, because this game is honestly pretty sick. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Ooh, alright, we're in. Red Hot Skull, let's do it. How much Arkham I used to play, dude? This game is no match for me. Like, this game is meant for greatness right now. This game has got the sauce. All it has to do is just keep it up. Ooh, ow. Let's get revenge. You know, I busted out those clubs and I feel like Daredevil. I am eager to see what their like other fighting styles could be. I am eagerly hoping for a like a boxing style, like Jack Dempsey, Hajime Ippo type fighting style. Like I want to hit like Dempsey rolls, and I want to just beat the crap out of people with my fists. Like this little taunt, it's like dance move that you can do. I do wish that you could like hold it so you could like keep dancing. That way there's like a risk reward to like, you know, maybe like build points or potentially even build up combo meter by dancing on enemies while they're around. And you know, the risk is just like you get hit, you lose your combo because you're not able to immediately fight back. But you sit there and hold long enough against the right enemies, you build a crap ton of either combo meter or maybe even like score. I don't know, just spitballing. Like there's so much they could do with this game to really make it even more interesting than it already is. Really liking this game a lot. I'm excited to see where it goes. When you exit the demo, it's got this little like wish list now thing that pops up, which is kind of cool. So, as you guys can see, they've got a lot planned for this game that I'm excited for. Costumes, multiplayer, etc., etc. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Honestly, it's an awesome game. It's fun. The demo's free on Steam. Try it out. Apparently, it's gonna have multiplayer, more fighting styles, customization, and it looks great. And games like that are what I'm hyped for. Hell, I want to know what the multiplayer is gonna be like in that game. If you're feeling a little worn out, if things keep rolling that big ass stone back down the mountain, or if you're just tired of the excessive strain of PvP on your soul as a gamer, go pick up some PvE. Go play solo, get some friends, a single friend, go play with some randoms. Do whatever. We all need some genuine teamwork and friendship to bring us through the stress and the hardships. We got this. It just takes hope and helpfulness, and sometimes all you need is a little more positivity in your life to really make a difference. Now, before I end this, I really wanted to talk about one last thing. It's not gaming related, nor is it a fun topic. I really initially didn't want to include this, but I'd be hypocritical in my own morals and values if I didn't. So if you're just here for gaming and general yappage, I appreciate you checking out my first episode of Yap Bear. I'll post more as soon as I can. Stay safe, stay real, and stay gaming. To those who don't mind if it gets a little more serious, and to those who actually want to hear what I have to say, let's wrap this episode up with something a little more pressing. Things in the world right now they're rough, to say the least. Prices seem to keep going up, the economy's ass backwards, people in positions of power are making a lot of big decisions for everyone, and it's all boiling over into our lives in, scary ways. Most people I talk to are stressed or worried, friends and their families are prepping for worst case scenarios, and, they're getting scared further and further as the days go on. I've got my own growing concerns too, but I want to let you all know that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be worried, to be unsure of what's coming next. It's okay to not know what to do or how to proceed during your day-to-day. We're all living in very strange times. Most of us didn't prep or have any training to handle something like this in our lives. And at the end of the day, everyone needs to accept that sometimes we're not okay. But don't give up. Don't give up. Because if there's anything I've learned in my life, it's that nobody goes through struggle alone. We've all got shit that holds us down and brings us to those bad places, and sometimes we all just keep it inside, or we hide it from everyone. Sometimes people you think are just fine are dealing with something that they just can't bring themselves to deal with. Sometimes people use positivity to hide their pain. You gotta remember to give yourself the same amount of care you would give your loved ones. And always check on the people you worry about, even if you think they're doing better than you are. More than anything, connection and bonding are going to get us through the toughest times. Hope, love, passion, and happiness are all things we need and can give one another. I might just be some guy on the internet. I'm just, a face, like a little character on a screen. But know that I believe in good people standing together to get through the worst of things. I believe in you, and your loved ones believe in you. Things are scary. Stuff can be sudden and really drastic. But so long as you're holding out hope, protecting your loved ones and those you care about, keeping your morals straight, and reminding yourself that love and friendship can conquer your mental hardships, even if the world's kicking you down at every chance it gets. Believe in yourself, believe in your friends, and believe in the good that we hold on to in our lives. Even though the pendulum of life is swinging down towards the shit, it'll always come back up and be good again. I hope that my words can comfort all of you. Maybe even giving some of you just a little bit of perspective or just a boost to your day. I know it's hard, but you can do it. We're all built for this. The indomitable human spirit didn't come about just because somebody thought it sounded cool or was a funny joke. It's in all of us. With that, I'm Teddy, your friendly neighborhood gaming bear, telling you all to stay real, stay gaming, and to remind your loved ones you care. be good people, and remember to never give up hope. I'll see you guys next time.